Too bad it's a bunch of Dallas stuff. That's
Right.
It
Like-
started out like that with that bullshit. Let's go.
that's crazy. With this, sometimes it might get a little choppy for you guys, but it'll do its own thing when it's done, and just kind of bear with it. But welcome in everybody. 101 sideshow, more like the 101 shit show. I got two OG admins from the collective. We got John and we got
What's up?
Uncle Rico. So
Uncle Rico.
before we start, John, do me a favor, man. For the world, pronounce your last name.
Man, I've been doing this a long time. Godesiabois, just like it looks, you know.
Just like it looks.
We're just gonna call him God.
Yep.
Yeah,
Get that.
actually, growing up, it was either Blaze or Gotti. Those were my two nicknames growing up.
That's-
As youngin'.
That's good. Gotti's good.
Gotti.
Glenn
Yeah,
said it.
I
He
mean,
just
I'm not
calls it.
gonna. I like it. It's all right.
No, that's
Especially when you're
sweet.
younger.
That's sweet. So thanks for popping in here. We don't got a lot on the agenda. Just kind of pick your guys' brains about some things. Had Rich on before, and we got to talk a lot about the hobby and how he likes to do it and how things work for him. John, how long have you been messing with cards?
Kind of a double-edged sword, right? We all kind of start young. So real quick story. I'm originally from Arizona, even though I'm a Buffalo boy now. I grew up in Arizona, born in Arizona. So growing up, I was actually a 49er fan, quite honestly, during like Joe Montana, Jerry Rice days, the heydays. My stepfather was a Broncos fan, so it was kind of a good rivalry at the time during those years. Elway was doing well, etc. So I collected during that time period, but didn't really have a good childhood. Ended up on my own and having kids super early. So having my kids early, I've been hustling since I was 17 and didn't really focus on the hobby at all. Completely forgot all about it. Didn't even know it existed, quite honestly, anymore. And right before COVID, I'm not a COVID guy, but right before COVID, I had started getting into it because my kids got older. I had some money hanging out, and I saw a Josh Allen helmet, quite honestly, and it was for a charity, and I bid on it, and that was it, man. The floodgates opened. I was on eBay. I was never been on Whatnot or none of that stuff. I keep it to Facebook or whatever, and eBay, not even too much on eBay, but it just ever since it's been, nonstop.
So how did you hook up with these characters here, Rich and Glenn and all the guys in the collective?
All right. So again, that's a little bit of a couple pages of a book. Glenn was my not introduction back into the hobby, but when I got into the Facebook and the break side of the hobby, Glenn was one of the first rooms I joined back. I don't even remember the name of the room at the time because it's been 2 or 3 rooms in theory. But Glenn is one of the first people I met online in the breaking part of the hobby. And honestly, just his nature, the way he operated, me as a new guy in the hobby in that side of it, I was going like nuts and crazy. I was spending money, closing breaks with him. He was willing to wheel and deal, always fair. And just the way he carried himself in the the breaks and stuff, he was always been a guy I got behind. So then he got burned, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to make this a big long story, but
Dude, you're good.
he got burned pretty good in the very most recent last room. He's kind of touched on that in some of the chats and stuff. I don't want to rehash a big story on it, but he got burned really good, and he took a break for a little while. And he reached out when this started up and he said, "Hey, I'm kind of getting this thing going. I really want you to be part of it." Quite honestly, surprised the shit out of me because it wasn't like I was real big in the hobby, although I mean I supported a lot of places. So from there it just kind of grew. I think there was maybe 100 or a couple hundred members, if that. Rich came on very shortly, and that was that. The very first year Rich came on, we met at the National down there in Cleveland. Just for a few minutes. Unfortunately, wish it could have been longer, but from that moment we shook hands and stuff. I think we've been connected, so it's that's kind of how we got connected as part of it. And he was one of their true, like any of us that are part of the team. He was true to what we are, our foundation, and that's where we are.
Love it. Hell yeah. Right on. Sweet. So next year, Nationals in Detroit. what's the chances that a bunch of us end up there?
Absolutely.
Is it in Detroit? I thought it's in Chicago again.
I thought it was in Detroit next year. Maybe I'm wrong, but
No, I think they signed a 3-year deal, if I'm not mistaken. It's in, I want to say it's in Chicago for the next two years.
then I'm
But
not going.
we need to fact check. we
You'll
need
go
to
to
fact
Detroit
check that.
though.
Hey,
Fact
Detroit.
check that for sure, because I might be speaking out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure that they signed a 3-year thing with them for this one.
Right on. No, I lived, Rich. I lived in both cities, and I'll go to Detroit. I like Detroit. For real. Like,
Detroit's cool to drive through and shit. I don't know about hanging out for too long.
oh man, we hung out a lot. Anyways, and also it's about 3 hours for me, so that makes it a lot easier.
I actually got a lot of family up in Detroit, Flint area, that kind of
Right on.
so I buzz balls about it, but I feel they're kind of like the second Buffalo. We're kind of sister cities almost, very identical.
Yeah, they both look like Sarajevo, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
You got it. Got it.
I put a post up the other day. I was trying to get you to bite, John, but I didn't want to tag you straight up because you seem a little bit more reserved, unlike some of the other guys. But then you liked it, and I'm like, damn it. Then I called you out, but I didn't get much from you. But I got a ton of responses. Like, a lot of guys messaged me. I got video messages from people, voice, and then long paragraphs about it, which was awesome because it seems like basically the question was the state of the hobby. How's it going? Different things. Does breaking mess it up? Does comps? Does PSA owning everything? All those different things. How does that affect it? What's the state of it? On down to what we care more about, Facebook. Our flashes ruining things, our buybacks ruining things. So I kind of want to skip real quick to the Facebook part, because that's what we all deal with, and most of the guys that watch us really only give a shit about that. What do you guys think? Are flashes ruining things right now for collecting, buy, sell, trade?
Rich, I'm gonna let you answer first.
I mean,
Not let you.
we're
I
all
didn't
I mean,
I'd
we're
like you to go
all
first.
I mean, we're all collectors, right? Like, let's be honest. It's just a different side of collecting is the way I see it. Like when I won't say that when I first dove into flashes that I didn't think that way, right? Like, cuz if you're new to it, of course you're going to think that way. Like, all right, dude, this card is worth $300 and it just did 900. How do we turn around and sell that and not take a loss? Cuz that's the mindset. If it did 900, and you see a lot of guys out there that price their shit that way. If it
Right.
if it did 900, it's worth 900. Reality, it's worth whatever eBay says it's worth, because that's what we go by. But I honestly, man, I think it's opened up another world to collecting and getting it lower than what you can go to a card show and get it for. Because I mean, dude, I hit a banger last night. I don't know if you guys seen. I hit a probably, I didn't look it up, probably $350, $400 CD on $7. Like,
Right.
Which one was that?
Go to a car show and get that. What?
Which one was that one, Rich?
It was in Card Pub. It was like a number to 20 auto patch, flawless, nasty, bro.
Oh yeah. No. That
nasty,
was
but I mean $7, right?
Yeah.
So
right.
like as a collector, how could you even be mad at that?
Sure.
Like, to me, that it just opens up another side to it. A lot of collectors don't mind breaks, right? But breaks, there's people out there getting robbed every day.
For sure.
Like, dude, you spend, and I've done it. I know John's done it because John's done it on mine, and unfortunately, it's happened to him. Is you spend $150 and you get $5 in base cards, right?
It happens 100%. Part of the game.
Or you walk into a card show and everything's 200% comps.
Sure.
Like, and these are the guys we call collectors, which are overpricing stuff to normal people, right? We call that collectors, but we call the flash side, a lot of people call the flash side gambling or casino, which it can be, right? It can be, but just another way to buy cards and not spend a ton, man. Honestly, it's no different than a line. A lot of people like OG lines. It's the same damn thing. Like there's rooms that are going 20% like we are. We're okay with 20% above comps. We're at 50% on buyback lines. So to me, flashing is just another way to go in there, hit a banger, and you can hit it on a buck too. Happens.
100%.
Or if you miss, the other side of that is that you supported a friend when your turn is up. They're going to do the same for you. It's really community, man. It's really community. Like, I know I talked about this before, but it's impossible to explain what goes into a flash, what goes into a good flash, what goes into a flash that blows up or a flash that doesn't. Like, there's a whole lot that goes into it, and 90% of that flash is based on community, which is a big part of collectors, right?
Sure.
Collectors are all about community. They talk about all the time. Collecting is community. Lines and flashes are flipping cards. If they only had half a clue how much communitying we actually do, like, I don't think collectors will feel that way about flashes at all, you know? Like, that's my opinion. Like, John, what you got, man? What do you think?
I mean, honestly, you hit on most of the good points. I think the biggest one for me with flashes is I've never been against flashes. Even when I first saw them, I thought, wow, that's impressive. You know, when you can, everybody wants to talk about comps so much that it basically takes comps out of the equation. It doesn't matter what comps are. How often do we truly bring up comps during a flash unless the flash is truly not doing well? That's
Right.
the time we try and bring up comps because we want to boost it. But in reality, we're mostly blowing flashes out. So the first time I ever saw a flash, that's exactly what it did, 2 or 3 times comps. And I'm like, holy shit, nobody's complaining. Everybody's jumping in this thing. Like, this is awesome. And quite honestly, I was pretty lucky. I mean, I consider myself relatively lucky. I'm, I get slumps, but I'm I guess I could say I'm luckier than the average person. I feel, right. You see my name a lot, um, but I was hooked on the flashes. I like it. You get big cards, like Rich. I think your biggest point that I think I liked about that you made was, unlike a traditional line, you control what you put into it to take a chance on it. And yeah, your percentage is changing based on the input of the flash, but ultimately doesn't matter. I can determine how much I'm going to spend on that risk. So no different than when you go and buy into these 50/50s at the games. Every time I go to a game or a kid's sporting event or anything, I'm buying the 50/50, right? You don't know how many are ultimately going to be sold, but you control what you're doing. So in a flash, if I want to spend $5 to support and take a chance, I can do that. Unlike if that same card might be in a traditional line, the spot might be 20, 30, 10, who knows? But I like flashes. I don't think they're ruining anything. I think if anything, they are becoming more saturated, right? And I get it, but I think that ultimately, and we've touched on this, every room is doing them now. I mean, even rooms that we all like that weren't doing them are starting to do them. My little nickel room included. We're like, why not try some Buffalo flashes? Now, granted, we would never branch out to something beyond that because it's a Buffalo room, but at the same time, it's a fun option for people to do. So I like them. I think they're here to stay. I think, like always, you got to get creative, collective with our minis and stuff, kind of breaking the mold a little bit, and that really adds a flair to it. So ultimately, I think flashes are a strong part of the hobby, even stronger than breaks. I think people enjoy them, quite honestly, more than breaks. I mean, ultimately, I join a break every now and then, but I'm done with breaks.
I'm the same way. I haven't gotten a break in a while, but what I found myself for the last few months is picking up cards on purpose that I know they're going to be ones that I line or do whatever with for support for
Yep.
my playing my numbers every day. Cause that's what it is. I'm playing my numbers. And I mean, you guys are right. Like, remember I had that downtown. I was worried about it, and it
It's
900 and something,
smashed.
dude.
Hulk smash, dude.
What
I'm
the heck?
showing you my dog.
Oh, look
That's
at the
my
doggy.
dog telling me he needs to go outside, for the record. I don't know if you can see him, but
Oh, we see him.
Go outside.
Wha-
Oh shit.
he's
Apparently, she's
knocking at
better
the
than my
door.
kids.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to
I
interrupt
mean,
you, but
No,
he's
you're
driving
good.
me
You're good.
nuts.
Everybody
I
loves dogs.
do have a little kicker to that I thought about too, is like, do you guys, after you have a personal flash, do you go buy a PC card at all?
I do now. Oh, a PC card? No, I don't. Rarely.
I it hits or misses. You know, if there's something I've been looking at or whatever, but typically the money I make from a flash is recovering from anything I've been doing up to that point. I don't
But
flash.
you're also not flashing your heavy PC either, right?
No, although I'll be honest, I've started to recently move a few pieces just because,
Mhm.
but no, ultimately my heavy PC pieces, unless I'm truly at that point, those are PC. You know, I mean, I'm trying to
Yeah.
narrow it down only simply because it just gets out of control. But
I bet
ultimately, no, I try to
that's
keep
awesome.
PC. That's why I built it. That's what it's there for.
I
I
dig it.
think
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I think where I was going with that is like, for me personally, like I feel like if you're all flash, like at some point you can distance yourself a little bit from the hobby. So I've tried to move more of the cards that I don't want a PC, and with my flashes, I try to take at least $100, $200, and buy something I'm going to keep. Um, and I think you see that a lot with people who flash more often, is that they okay, Gru is a good example, right? Every time
100%.
every time this dude flashes, you see 3 helmets,
Yep.
or so it, you could say whatever you want to say, but it is feeding the collector side. It really is, because I bought two Parsons the last time I flashed. Like, I went out and found them. I want these. I'm gonna put this back so I don't blow all this money. And I think that it's just like trading at the end of the day, because you're flashing a card you really don't want, just like you're trading a card you don't really want into something you really want to keep, and then you're still keeping money back to support your buddies. In reality, you're winning more cards to turn into more stuff you do want.
Hopefully.
So
That's a
so I mean,
yeah.
you could flip it as bad, you could flip it as good, you could flip it however you want. At the end of the day, it flips right side up, and it's whatever you want it to be. And that's the hobby in general. The hobby is whatever you want it to be at the end of the day. For me, it's flashing, lining. I hate card shows because everything's overpriced.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
So
Um,
with that, I mean, I
Yep.
agree with all that, and I've found so much love in this. And we were talking earlier, Rich, about like how I want to do less flashes. I just, this is why. Everybody's different, and it does not bother me at all. But look at my inbox, and I know you guys are the same. Whew, hourly flashes, right, from a million people. I'm able to mostly, just ignore whatever you want. I don't feel obligated for every one of them, but I do feel obligated for some of them. I was talking with an individual earlier this morning about that, and we were talking about what would be best case scenario for us to take some of this, like, this thought that we have to jump in everybody's so they will jump back into ours. What if we tried just going after cards we liked? Like, mind blowing, right? Yes. So we agreed 0738 this morning. We're going to do that by noon.
it was blown away, dude.
You
Right back
can't.
into it, man. Right back into it. It's hard. I want to be involved. And that's why, like, what I'm saying with mine, like, I'm not saying you're pressuring me. Or anybody. That's not what I'm saying. I don't, but I know people do feel that way. And I don't want to run a bunch of them because I don't want to, add to that. And I know it sounds like I'm saying, oh, you guys that flash all the time, that's a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying. This is just my perspective and outlook on it. So do you guys have any advice? Because you guys have been, messing with flashes for longer, to like some of the guys that might feel that kind of way, to where like all the positives of a flash can be, and I know the simple thing is just ignore it, right? But like they want to line cards and they just have this unrealistic feeling that they have to support everybody or they won't get it back. Like, what do you guys say to that?
I think that's a very real feeling. I feel it.
every day.
Therefore, I know it's a real thing. Like to me, there is no way you could deny that, right? Um, I know for a fact, and I don't know how anybody could argue against it, that if you're not out there putting your name out there, which is called supporting, right? I mean, that's how your name gets out there. You're not going to get the return when you go to do something in it, even if it's simply lining a card. We see it, we know it. There's people who can line a very good card, and it takes a lot more effort than one of us to line a half as equal card in reality. So that's all equates to the dollar that it does. I mean, and anybody that wants to argue against that, in my opinion, is just not being honest. I just, it doesn't mean that it needs to be dollar for dollar in support, but it does need to mean that your name is out there and they see your name throwing some money. That's the end of I mean, otherwise you're just not a name in the hobby. That's unfortunately the part of the hobby that we have to acknowledge head on.
Yeah.
Fair.
I mean, and again, I will always to this day look at Josh Smith. The guy, I love the dude, right? And I mean, he's an animal, and we all tell him, slow down, Josh, slow down. I'm
All
telling
the
you right
time.
now on this
Slow down,
camera,
dude.
slow down.
Yep.
For real.
But he'll tell us, listen, I do this because I want to do it. And he doesn't feel like we need to match that. He sees us when we're there. He knows we're there the way we can. Rich, you say it all the time. You support on the level you can. That's what you do. You know what I mean? To do anything above that is jeopardizing your own home, and that doesn't make any sense. So, but you have to be out there if you want any return later.
Right on.
Yep.
I'm gonna turn you guys to my Christmas tree, and you're gonna bullshit for a few minutes. I gotta take my dog out, or he's just gonna keep knocking at the door.
You're
Like,
good.
I don't know if you can hear him, but he's literally knocking at my door.
Nah,
Do your thing.
So
see if we got any presents under there.
no presents yet, but at least it's a Christmas, a little bit of a TV, a fireplace, maybe.
I like that. It's nice.
Oh yeah.
That's
All
nice.
right. I'll be back.
Josh, if you're listening, I wish I could do back for you. But we see you, dude. Seriously, we
see you,
do.
man.
You're an animal. And if you skip one of mine, it's fine, dude. I'm cool with
skip them. Please skip it.
Like, that's the other thing. Like, I mean what I say. Like, dude, no obligation to anybody. If I tag you, I don't even like tag. We just had this talk the other day. I'm not a fan of tags. They are necessary. I got a hard dose of humble pie with just a few tags, and I appreciate that. But I mean,
yeah, man,
that is how it works. I get it, but also just my personality and my style. Like, that's just me. That's just me. And
your personality and your style is, you don't want to feel like you're taking advantage. And I've been there. Hey, I mean, me and Charette had a talk probably, I don't know, man. It was before Collective, and he's like, and it took me back. I think about it today. I had to think about it, but it took me back. He's like, dude, can I get a list of the flashes you have running every week? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, dude, I can't keep up. And I thought about that for a second. Like, okay, I'm running 2 in pub a week. I'm running 1 in my own group a week. I'm running somewhere else a week, and I'm burning out my supporters. I really am. It doesn't matter how much money I spend on them. They're not going to be able to keep up with my flashes. So like now I'm at 3 max. I'm at 3 max a month. If I run one somewhere else, like I ran one with Jason Burns like a couple months ago or whatever, it's more because I want to help them out. They're growing in the group they're in, or it's because a friend asked me because they wanted me to run one. But it's usually one night, one lunch, and one main flash a week, or one main flash a month. But honestly, dude, I run out of funds. I had a $640 flash last month, and 4 days later I was gone. I was
It's
broke.
wild. It's wild.
It's because what happens is we run until we fill it in our bank, and then we slow down, and then when we get that win again, instead of tapping a little bit more money back in that bank, we're like, oh shit, let's support everybody we can before we're broke again.
This is where I would cut in that. I got something to tell you, Joe Rogan. I smoke rock. Like, but it's
Yeah.
not too far off from that. I mean, I would see the same thing with family members, you know, like with bingo or with the scratch offs at the bar. You guys all know the shit I'm talking about. Like, are we eating tonight, or are we eating something good tonight? Or is it like, you know, what's left in there? It's very similar to that. And you know, I think dealing with you guys, it's something we talk about all the time, is fostering a positive environment. Like the issue I had today, dude, Glenn blew my mind when he was like, okay, for everybody, I'm not going to say any names, but a guy that I mess with on eBay came over to Facebook, and then he got took for $150. I know it's just $150 to some people. To other people, can you imagine losing $150? I don't care if it's $10. A scammer got him, right? So I'm doing what I think I should do, and I asked these guys for some advice. Glenn says we're going to throw money his way. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but to show him that there aren't bad, it's not all bad people in this hobby. And like, that was like, dude, that's crazy to me. The way we try to, I don't know. I know people would look at us kind of like we're suckers. I get it. There's a lot that attitude, totally understandable, man. I get it when it's all about the dollar and all that, but like, that ain't the party I'm trying to run. And I'm not saying I'm trying to go broke doing this either. I want to be able to do it. I don't feel the need to squeeze until they're dead and then find another one. That's just not me.
No,
And
but you gotta not piss your wife off. You know, you gotta feed it. You gotta feed it somehow, right? So
sure,
like if you flashing, I get it. You can absolutely overflash, right? And at the same time, you're not gonna get the same bang for your buck on your main flash either, right? Because
sure,
you already ran 4 more somewhere else that Connor Carroll supported you on. Let's just be honest, you know what I mean? So like when your main flash comes up, where you in your mind you're like, oh, this is gonna bang, dude. This is gonna do $800, and then you do 500. Well, the answer to that is you flash 4 more times this month in different rooms, and them same motherfuckers followed you from room to room, and now they don't have the same amount of money they had last week.
for sure.
I mean, that's reality. But, you know, go back. I did want to say this is like, let's not bullshit ourselves and say we don't chase cards either, right?
Yeah.
It ain't
Oh
all
yeah.
it ain't all about support, man. I find a banging ass card that I want, I'm gonna go after it. Doesn't matter who's got it up,
All
you
day.
know,
All day.
Oh, 100%.
all day long.
Yeah. And
100%.
as it should be, you know, because that's the root of this shit, right? It's the cardboard. I
But
get it.
but you could line, bro. You know, lining is different.
Yeah.
We still allow 20% over. You sell that card on eBay, you're upside down because you're taking 13% off of what comp says or whatever somebody decides they want to pay you
For
that they
sure.
call comps.
Yeah.
So even if you don't feel comfortable flashing all the time, you can line anytime you want.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel right tagging, I'm going to show up no matter what if I see it. So it's going to fill, you know what I mean?
For sure. Oh yeah.
Um,
That's for me. Like, I've never had a problem lining. And again, I think that's just more like, you know, I try to buy good so I can line good. And to the guy that buys one spot, let's say like today, to make the math easy, we'll just say 20 spots at 10. It was 19, but a guy who buys a spot for $10, not a big deal if he hits or he doesn't, right? But a guy that wants to throw a little bit more in and up his odds, I don't know, let's say he grabs 5 or 6 spots. There's still plenty of room in there for him to make his money. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I was taught just with business in general. So I've never really had a problem. What I've found is like, when do I line that card? What time works best for me? You know what I mean? Where I can be on it, and
yeah.
you know, everybody's got their different style, and like, it's too saturated at night for me. I'm
Yeah.
fighting Pat for that, you know, 0 dark 30 spot. So
Well, that and you got to pick a card. Like if you're time, you have a time restraint. You got to pick a card in your mind. You know who's going to snap that day,
yeah, for sure.
and you're not gonna be stuck at the fire station or at my job for the next 3 days trying to fill it. And you know you're gonna leave it unmanned. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Is what's gonna happen.
right.
So card choice is a lot. You know, time is a lot, dude. I don't have no time. I find time when I can. That's why I don't line cards.
Yeah,
Um,
I dig it.
but yeah, man. Is flashes really much different than a line though?
No,
It's just a quicker spot, but
yeah,
you're still got the same people supporting you.
and I think that when you talk about controlling what you put in, I mean, that is like just such a huge driver. And I like the way that's said because that's what it is.
Yeah.
If you don't want to go dumb, don't go dumb. But if it's something you want to go dumb on, there you go.
Yeah, and
So
it's $1, so you know
sure,
you can
sure.
control it. It could be 1,
And
2, 3, or 20.
I'm always rooting for my boy who drops that dollar. Always,
Yeah.
always. I want him to hit every time, man. I do.
The
I do.
Nez, the Nez, the Nez.
I love it, man. I love it. So let's get into this. John, oh man, I know you got a whole room that is Josh Allen, you know, and Buffalo. But you got fire, dude. Like, how do you go about buying? Like, and I don't want to give you to give away any, like, you know, trade secrets, right? But like, if you don't mess with eBay, what do you do?
Honestly, there is no trade secret, right? I do a little bit of everything. I've clearly participated in the flashes and the razzes, which is the primary way I've won a lot of my stuff, including a lot of my PC. I've been very lucky on Josh Allen and Bills in general, because at first, that's all I went after. When I first got back into the hobby, being a Bills guy, I wasn't really concerned with the entire world of the NFL and the cards and the possibilities of what that meant. I was just happy to be a Bills guy and have some serious Bills stuff that people would be like, "Oh, that's cool." Um, as I obviously got more and more into it, they expanded, and I realized that not only the value, but you guys have seen some of my pictures. I think my PC is very vast. It's not just Bills anymore. I got QBs from every team. But to answer your question, I buy at card shows, I trade, I win it flashes, razzes. I trade. Rich and I have done a few trades early on back in the day. Nationals where I do a lot of work, quite honestly, for the year. I pick up like my biggest PC stuff. Like, that's my goal, is to find it there. Usually at the trade nights. I don't typically find it at a dealer. But that's how I do it. And locally do a lot of trading and buying and stuff like that. So
if you don't mind, a lot of guys have never been to the National. All of us have, which is awesome. But walk them through what a trade like's not, because they can imagine, all right, walking through, seeing all these tables, everybody's there, boom, all right, it's a card show, but like the card show. But trade night, what's that like?
Trade night, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna carry you with me because my dog is getting into my pizza from earlier. Trade
What?
night, yeah, getting over there. So trade night, well, I took my son for the first time to National this year. And give me 1 second, I'm gonna pick up this pizza off the damn floor. So there you go. Lay down. All right. So I took my son, who's not young, he's like 25 now, I think. But we went, and the first night, the first day at Nashville was hectic. It was crazy. The drive there was nuts. So he was exhausted, and it didn't go well, which I will say, in my experience in National, they're never organized the first night of trade night. The way to get in, where to line up, all that stuff is never ironed out perfectly in the couple I've been to in the various cities. So, long story short, we don't make trade night because we get in the wrong line somehow. So now I'm aggravated and pissed off. he doesn't understand why I'm so mad. When we get to the hotel, I'm like, just not mad at him, of course, but I'm just mad because trade night, as we know, if you've been to one, is where it's at, right? So I'm like, and every night is important because it's, every night's a little different. But the very next night we get in there and his mind just blew up, right? We walk in, we sit down, we get our own table, we lay some cards out, and people just started swarming. And deals are being made, offers, people are asking about cards, they're trying to reach in your case. Like it's a madhouse. It's the biggest card
Damn.
show in the world in a cramped room that nobody can move, but everybody's actually willing to wheel and deal. Where upstairs, the vendors aren't wheeling and dealing. And we know they're 200%, as we've already said, over comps. And I get it. They're expensive. It's hard to be there. Sometimes they have cards you're not going to see or get anywhere else. But at the same time, like, I don't know. Trade night is just unbelievable. There is nothing like it at the National specifically. There's just nothing like it.
So like, but I mean, like, so what? You're like, all right, so I'm looking for Josh Allen. Would you put a sign up? Like, I go to gun shows all the time, right? I sell a lot. So I'm carrying a rifle with a price tag on it because I'm in Ohio. This is a free state. We're allowed to do shit like that. So I'm walking around like 800 on this piece, and people go, oh, okay, he's selling a rifle. How does it work there? How would you acquire a Josh Allen card if there's a million people and it's a zoo?
Something similar to what you said. Like, if you want, you just tape a sign up to your card case, like you lift the lid up. What we do is we get a table. I lift up my lids of my card cases. I lay some cards out. You want to keep track of what you have. You don't put too much out because it gets crazy. So I'll make sure I put out 9 cards or something. And then people ask you, what do you have or whatever. But I always have a sign taped to the table or to the thing. Or people just walk around and they're like, I got this, I got that. What are you looking for? And it's funny because you'll tell somebody, oh, I'm looking for this. They'll disappear, and an hour later they come back and they have what you're looking for because they went and did all the wheeling and dealing. You know what I mean? That's why I love it. Like, trade night is why I go to the National now. Like, the first time I ever went, it was the vendor part. It was walking through. And I don't want to shortchange that. There's a lot to see upstairs, but anytime the trade nights happen, it is phenomenal. And you're definitely, you can get the wheels and the deals, and people are just motivated. Like, it's a fun night, high energy, and a good night.
That's cool, man. That's fun. Rich, you ever go to trade night?
Yeah, honestly, man, the down to earth people are at trade night. I mean,
Right.
we could just keep it honest there. Like I didn't meet anybody that was stuck up. Uh, he is saying exactly what's right because I smiled when he said walking around to find a card to trade somebody because I actually did that during trade night.
See, that's what I mean.
I traded a 101 DAC black box and something else for a CD or CJ micro PSA 10, and then I trade that into another card I wanted. I think it was a silver CJ at the time, and it's just like that's the truth, man. If you walk up to a booth, most likely the guy will tell you what he's looking for, and most likely you're going to walk about 6 tables and you're going to find exactly what you want for that guy.
Yep.
But I mean, it's also the atmosphere because you got music playing, you got people on Ocho Cinco, seen him. Like, trade night is completely different. Like, the upstairs is just hustle and bustle, right? You're going to find a card where you can make $1 million on it in your mind, or you're going to find a card that you're going to tuck away for the next 30 years. Trade night, you're going to meet guys like us 3. You're going to meet guys, and you're also going to see people ripping wax nonstop. I don't know what
Right.
the fuck's up with that, dude.
Yeah.
But I watched this guy rip like 18 cases by himself, just bam, 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 bam.
When
And he
in
was
Rome.
live, so maybe he was doing it for people. I don't know, but holy
Yep.
shit, man. It's just, unless you've been to nationals, dude, I did 2 trades in the parking lot in the line walking into trade night.
I was just about to say that. So, yep.
No lie.
The first night, what was it? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday when it was in Cleveland. I took my nephew along with my son Ivan. We get up there. It's Cleveland, so we already know it's going to be trashed IX Center. There's nothing near it. We parked on the wrong side, of course, so we're walking all the way around the building. Anyways, we're there all day. We're having a blast, and I'm waiting for my to see Rick Lewis and Darren Anderson from Enigma Trading, and don't see him that whole day. We're like, damn. So we go home. Come back the next day. It's just me and Ivan, and I'm getting onboarded for Whatnot to be there to get their I forget what it was called, where we you get the rewards program. Now everybody gets it, but so I'm down in there in the room with like these these dudes that what are they called, influencers and stuff, and I'm like, this is crazy. I got Ivan with me and stuff, and we're sitting in here, and I come upstairs, and we took the escalator, but I go over by the elevators, and there's Rick and Darren hitting people up at the elevators, making trades before they even go down there. I'm like, dude, these dudes are savages, man. Like every little kid that walks by with a case, they're like, what you got? What you got? You want to trade? And I'm like, dude, you guys are ruthless, dude. Ruthless. But it was fun. It was awesome. It was a good time.
Now,
you guys, go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry, Steve. A story about that. We actually I was doing a deal with a vendor this year, a big trade actually. And it was for that Mahomes kaboom, I think I got this year. And I ended up flashing when I was in the hospital, matter of fact. But we had to go out because the tables were busy. We couldn't get Wi-Fi service. So we went and sat in the food area. There was like a food area outside the main doors into the actual, carding area, we'll call it.
Mm-hmm.
Security came over and actually told us we weren't allowed to do that where we were doing it. And he's like, I'm a vendor. I'm actually inside, but there's no Wi-Fi. He's like, you're not allowed to do that out here. They wouldn't let us like go through cards out in that lobby. Now in Cleveland, that was in Chicago. In Cleveland, like you said, every hallway, it didn't matter where you were. And that's yeah, it didn't matter. People were set up everywhere. Now, the other thing I was going to say is even the hotels around the area turn into trade nights and shit every night. Like the hotel lobbies, you walk into a hotel lobby and there's nothing but card people and card cases open up from 11 o'clock to 3 in the morning. You know what I mean? And they're drinking beer, doing carding and eating pizza and whatever. So
that's why Cleveland ruined it, because they put it at the IX Center with the size of the venue's good, but there's nothing there. But they can't move it downtown because then we're all getting robbed. So we don't want that either. So what are we going to do? Yeah. So they could move it to somewhere safe like Chicago or Detroit. This makes no sense.
Detroit,
no sense. Right? No, that's cool. John, that made me think of something. That kaboom, I remember, it's a big card. We've seen a lot of big cards. What's the biggest deal, if you want, you don't have to, but what's the biggest deal you've ever done? Because I've never done big deals with vendors and stuff like that, but I know a lot of guys love to hear this kind of stuff. Like my biggest deal is like a couple $1,000 card. Not even that.
I would say the biggest volume deal, like if we're talking dollar figure, by the time it was said and done, maybe 10 grand. Couple cards to make up that 10 grand. But it definitely I mean, I've got buddies, I got one buddy in particular, actually, I shared with you guys, I believe, in the one chat. My buddy, he has some of the sickest talons I've ever seen. That, you know what I mean? There's just guys who, I mean, I don't know, blow it out of the water. Quite honestly, yesterday I sold my biggest Otani, and I got just under 4 grand.
Nice.
So,
good shit, man.
It was, I didn't want to get rid of it, but it
was hard.
It was very hard. But time is now. I mean, clearly with his market, especially, and just time, I needed the funds. So, but yeah, I would say 10 grand is probably the biggest transaction I've done, and it was multiple cards to make that.
Dope. That's cool, man. Yeah, a lot of guys ask, and I don't got nothing to tell him, and he gone. Oh, he's back. So, right on. So we talked about flashes, Facebook stuff, national. Anything that's pressing on you guys, like any PSAs you want to give out? Anybody, like, what's going on in your hobby world? Anybody you're chasing? You looking forward to tops? Like, what are we doing here?
That's an interesting conversation after the whole thing in the chat with Glenn and Tops. He really doesn't like Tops.
We all need to send him a bunch.
Yeah, I don't know. I had to quiet down because I'm like, man, I understand what he was saying. Glenn, I understand what you're saying. I definitely I can't be quite that harsh on Tops, right? And I think part of it is why he said I grew up with Tops. Like I look back at my childhood cards and I'm like, man, those are some ugly ass cards, but man, I love them. Like, you know, Tops is to me where I started in the hobby at 25 cents a pack with a piece of bubble gum in it at the gas station. So I don't know. Like I'm excited to see that part of it, like what happens with the licensing and stuff. I'm not as stressed as a lot of people are. I think that like anything else in the world, market is market, and people get creative, and when doors shut, others open, and things
Very
happen
true.
that, you know, new opportunities. Look at COVID. I mean, it killed a lot of businesses, unfortunately. It's very sad, right? And but at the same time, a lot of new businesses and a lot of new industries and a lot of new things developed. So the card world is no different. We've always adapted, and we'll adapt in that respect. So I'm excited to see what happens as far as that goes, the licensing and stuff.
Rich, what about you? We talked about this a little bit before.
I'm torn, man, because like Tops is a reminder of your childhood. Panini is a reminder of your adulthood, kind of. I just I just don't know. The thing that worries me the most is that the case hits become irrelevant.
Yeah,
Like I'm not gonna lie, man.
that's where I'm at.
I don't know how Tops, unless they buy the licensing for them certain brands of Panini, I don't know how they can create a downtown. But I mean, these guys are pretty smart, I would assume, right? They probably turned a company that was worth dollars into billions, you know.
Yeah,
And I'm just a dumb guy that manages a furniture store. So, you
right.
know, at the end of the day, I'm outside looking in, but I freaking love the downtowns, man.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm losing my best friend. Like I feel like my life's over, you know?
I
And
get it.
that's where I'm coming from on Tops. I don't so much hate the cards. I do think that they have a lot to do to get away from the paper
The paper
style
feel for
cards.
sure. Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it cardboard, man. It's to me, as some of them cards are just paper thin. I think the regular Tops cards are a little ugly, but we also have to remember, right? Tops is not the company. I read something the other
Correct.
day that Fanatics said we're not going to say we won't take anything out. Like it's our brand. They
Uh-huh.
could decide overnight. Fanatics makes their own thing, takes all the licensing, puts it together, and makes a kaboom downtown. We don't fucking know, you know. We don't
Yeah,
know what they're gonna do. But they're pretty intelligent and they're buying everything up.
yeah.
Um,
Think about it. Like, so they go from Fanatics with like fucking t-shirts and hats and stuff to the platform, the cards. They're a one-stop
why?
shop on their whole website. You know, like everything you want is pointed. Oh, you know, you're a John Morant guy. I got shoes, I got hats, I got jerseys, got his card, got his bobblehead, all in one spot. Like, and then, oh, you want to jump in a break and hit one? Oh, just click this
Here
link.
it
Like,
is.
dude, they've got it
You
dialed in.
want
Like, they're
you
not
want
idiots.
shoes, you want shoes, you want shirts, you want helmets, you
Yep.
whatever you want,
And
dude. They make them.
They are the Amazon of the sports world.
They have
bingo,
a
bingo.
monopoly.
And
They
we're
have a
throwing a
monopoly.
party in New York. And if you want to come to that and then, you know, play a bunch of games afterwards, Diddy's throwing a party that you guys can come to on the rooftop. You know, same thing, dude. They got it all locked in,
A
man.
Diddy
They,
party.
Maybe in hindsight, they're dealing what we're dealing with flashes, right?
hmm,
They're changing the way the hobby looks a little bit because they now you
hmm.
could say it however you want to say it. They now own the hobby, dude. They own basketball, they own baseball, they own football. It's just a matter of time before they own hockey, right? Like, let's just be honest.
You
Like,
would guess, yeah.
at some point, it's going to be Fanatics, and then everybody else is $100 high end hobbies. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, let's just be honest. You know,
yeah. Well,
is that bad for the card world? I don't know. Is it
uh,
scary? Is it
well,
scary? I think that's the biggest thing. We're fucking scared, right?
Well, we
is it
don't
bad?
know, so we're scared. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it bad that PSA has got a fucking stranglehold on everything right now?
Is it bad that SGC looks better than PSA does?
But PSA owns them, you know?
PSA owns them because that's what we tell everybody to do.
No, I mean
If
physically they, you know, they bought them. So it's like dude.
Oh, PSA owns Fanatics?
No,
SGC.
SGC.
Oh,
Yeah.
SGC. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's there.
But that's what I mean. Like, so like with that, you know, we're stuck with PSA, right? Everybody says it, unless it's, you know, some
Unless people
pools.
stop grading.
Well, that too, but
And
unless
that's
it's,
what's happening right now.
I think that's true. I think there's a lot to that.
When's
but
the last time you graded?
I haven't sent a submission out in over a year.
the
Same.
last,
I used to send out hundreds of cards.
Same.
the last few was that Bonix, White Shock, the Select, and Travis Kelce and Lamar downtown. So beginning of summer is when I got it back. So
Because if it doesn't dime, then
And
you
they
don't get
did.
anything out of
well,
it.
the Knicks did. You're right. Everything else didn't.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, let that's okay. So he brings us right back to flashing and razzing and everything else, right? In our world, why take the time, even if it's a gradable card, why take the time and the risk of sending it off with all the issues with PSA recently, the time delays and everything else? You may lose on the card even if it comes back a good card.
Bingo.
So
Or they may lose the card. Shit.
or they may lose the card, they damage the card, like all these horror stories that are coming out with them recently. You're in the way we have access to getting rid of cards for the volume and the money we can get for them. For us in particular, I feel like it doesn't necessarily make the most financial sense.
I couldn't agree more.
Now for a PC, I'll still send
Sure.
off cards for my PC because then it's like it's not so much about value. You know what? If it gets an 8, okay, whatever. At least it's encased. I know what it is. It is what it is. I'm not so concerned with it. But
Right.
I learned after getting burned a few times on the turnaround times and the drops in values that and again, now if you want to go with the ones who can get it back to you fast enough, you just don't get the turnaround, so it's still not worth it.
Exactly.
It
Still in the
just
same boat.
They turned into Beckett. Let's just be honest.
I mean, to a degree, for sure.
Beckett's lead time is. I mean, if the lead time went to 15 to 20 days, I would grade every single month.
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
Because then I'm still gonna make money, or I can hold that tangible sooner. You know.
Yep.
Yeah,
Rather
the
than me
market
waiting.
stays relative still.
Well, and
I waited 6 months for a card one time, man.
right. Yeah,
6 months.
I got Ryan Bosworth sent up. He was doing a submission, and you know he cleaned some and did some stuff for me, and I tossed him a few more. And God, it's been forever. And I don't know if because we sent so many in together, but it's just been taking forever. But that's the other thing too. Primarily, most of us that are listening and that we're dealing with are talking about the most volatile sport there is, not only with just swings, but injuries and shit. These dudes get hurt in the off season. They get arrested more than anybody else, just stupid shit. So if you're sitting waiting even 3 or 4 months, like you might have just you might as well have just got rid of it raw all day.
Absolutely.
I'm with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't mess with it. Yeah. But if it is PC, I'll send to SGC. I like tuxedos.
Exactly. Yeah, I like the look of the black. I mean, it makes the card pop more, in my opinion. The PSA doesn't give anything to the look of the card. That's what sucks.
Right.
But yeah, as far as like looking at it, clearly I'll look at a card not so much anymore for grading, but just to make sure I can disclose any true flaws.
Sure.
You know, and somebody will ask, "Oh, what do you think on the grade?" And it's like, you know, you can usually tell if it's got a whatever potential, but for the most part, I don't even get involved with that, you know, unless it's somebody like one of us or whatever. I'll give an honest opinion, but anybody else, I'm not going to be held to that because
No way.
even if I'm accurate, who the hell a PSA is? You
Right.
know,
It could be a PSA 1 Jalen Hurts auto that looks like a PSA 10.
exactly.
You remember that one?
Yeah,
You just never know, man.
100%, 100%, 100%.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree, man. Assume all raw cards won't gem, right? That's what we should always do.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. You come across let's say a Patrick Mahomes, one of those Crown Royals, looks good on eBay. Don't you think that if it was 10 worthy, it would already get sent in? Do you automatically, like, okay, what I'm getting at is like, I assume off the rip, oh, there's something wrong that I can't see because that would have already been graded. Like, am I the only one that thinks that way? Maybe I'm just messed up.
No, I think that most of the people agree with that, but I know from experience because I have a few raw Allens in particular that I know were never sent in for grading. that they may gem, they may not. But I do believe that yes, for the most part, if it's that old of a card, I think that for the most part, it's either already been graded and got cracked, or there's something to be looking at on the card because it's not going to get a good grade. Rich, what do you think?
I mean, I bought on eBay. I bought on Facebook. I've won flashes. I've won lines, and I've dime cards, and I've got PSA sixes. So it's all in between. What I have learned is, and it's unfortunate, is 65% of the card world will not disclose that there's problems with a card.
Man, no shit.
You know, and it's sad. And I know everybody knows not everybody knows to look for print lines, right? You know, not everybody has a microscope where they can see stuff. Most of the time corners look good and you don't see any spots on the card, pretty centered by eye. You know, you're going to say there's nothing wrong with it. But it's a toss up, man. I've also had cards that I had a Wemby, I had a pink Wemby, dude. I'm so mad at this to this day. I had a pink Wemby worth $400 raw. It was worth $1,200 as a 10 at the moment, right? I looked at it, I'm like, this bitch is off center, bro. I know I'm gonna get a 9, possibly a 8. Well, Tim Dow won that bitch and he dimed it. So I mean, you just
never know.
never know. But hey, but you know what? I turned that $400 card into $800 on a flash.
There you go.
So
right.
I didn't really lose, you know.
Well,
And that's kind of where we're at on Raw. Is like, why would I take the chance on grading it, you know, and having all that time and money into it when my return may be the same if I flash that bitch raw, you know.
exactly.
Yeah. Did you see that downtown online the other day?
I did.
I expect if there's a print line like that, I'll take them out of the one touch unless it's like a Panini one or something like that. I'm not taking that out because a lot of the guys want the stickers. But if it's just any whatever, you know, or, you know, some breaker repack company or whatever, or one of ours, you know, I'll pull it off. I'll put a new one on all day. I'll probably pull it off anyways, put one of ours on. I expect like those kind of obvious things. I don't expect a guy to grab a microscope and, you know, but I expect something that's pretty damn obvious to be disclosed. And like, I think we need to do a better job as a community of calling that shit out. And don't jump in their damn lines and like, let them know. Like, you don't got to be a dick about it, but like, hey, dude, come on.
Well, I think a lot of what the other stuff that happens is like, and I've been guilty of it, dude. I will tell you, it happened to me in pub. Is I won a card of somebody that I trusted, the group trusted, everybody trusted, and I didn't check it, and I reflashed that bitch. And when I flashed it, the owner got it. Whoever won it got it. They lifted the blue tape because I never did, and it was torn. The whole card was torn on the top. So like,
damn.
So like you, and it was bad at the time. I had to refund the guy, all that stuff, whoever won the flash. But I took care of it. But you just never know, man. You just never truly know what you're getting, and you might get that dime, bro. You know, I would say for anybody who's listening, like, don't look the dime cards on flashes. Like, it's 90% of the time, especially people who grade, they're flashing that card because they don't want to take a chance on grading it because they know it has a print line or it's questionable, it's off center.
I'm always down for a print line for $10.
But then there's guys like me and John who flash, and you, all three of us, that flash great cards, whether they have problems or not. And if they do have a problem, we're going to over exaggerate that there's a problem because we don't want somebody to get screwed. You know what I mean?
That's exactly it. I mean, I try to include, even when I'm lining a card, I think you guys can see it. I overdo photos because, and if you want a video, you know what I mean, reach out. I don't care. I'm going to try and be, I like to feel good when I get a card. I want somebody else to feel good, whatever it is. And so when I'm looking at a card, I'm clearly looking for true defects, your dimples, your whatevers, corners and stuff like that. But at the same time, I mean, like we're saying, you can't expect a gem card. I mean, I never do. So there's that. I don't know, you know, what else to say about that one.
Right.
And so that's anywhere. That's eBay too. You're buying it raw, right?
100%.
For sure.
You're not buying a graded card. You're buying a raw card. So you're getting what you're getting.
And half the time, I mean, I can't say half the time. That's a stupid percentage. But there's been times I know I've purchased a card, and I look at photos, right? We all do. And the card I've gotten from that buyer, and I'm not talking one of the warehouse companies that are on eBay that we all know of. I'm talking like a legitimate single buyer, and they must have had a couple of that card, and they didn't send me the one that was in the photos. But how
Yeah.
are you gonna possibly argue that, right? You can't go back
Right.
and argue. It's like, so you take that, which is why I've steered away from buying on eBay. If I can't go to a card show and find it, if I don't find, you know what I mean, I might as well take the risk somewhere else where I'm not paying the fees and everything else that with eBay. I'm kind of done with eBay for the most part. I don't even
I
list
think
cards or sell cards on eBay anymore.
Yeah.
so. We've about an hour here. I got one more question for you guys, and this is something that the eBay thing and the shipping and disclosing stuff made me think of, and it was actually the same conversation I was having with that individual this morning about just going after cards we like. This is what I do, and in a very polite, I'm your friend, let me tell you why you're doing the wrong thing. He told me I insure every card for the value of the line when I ship. Now, when I interviewed Will, he wasn't the same way with it, and his reasons made sense. This individual had very similar reasons, and they make sense. Where are you guys at with it? I don't think there's anything wrong per se, because if you're a legit dude, it's going to be on you regardless. So most of the time, do you guys do that? Am I spending too much when I send a one touch or a slab and it costs me $9, $10, $11? Is that just insane?
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know how rich is, but I'll insure a card if for some reason I feel I don't want to have to come out of pocket for that card in a long-term fashion, right? Couple $100 card, I'm not going to worry about. I got that. That's no problem. If there's an issue, I'm going to come up with that. But if I'm shipping $1,000 card or a $2 or $3 or $4,000 card, clearly I'm certainly going to insure it for full value. One thing I've definitely learned is I bought those boxes. I think I've shared them in the chat once or twice. The more generic the packaging that I've gotten, which I learned from actually a breaker, quite honestly, the less hurt or the less risk I feel I'm taking. So I don't know. I've again, it is a legitimate guy who's going to back it up regardless. I think it just depends on how you feel about the value and whether you feel confident you can cover the loss easily until whatever's covered. That's how I feel.
Where you at, Rich?
I have mixed feelings. Like I want certain people to cover their card fully if they're sending it to me or they're sending it to somebody else. But I feel like what John's saying is accurate. If you run a $500 line and that card gets lost, as the card owner, you just got to be prepared to pay it. And here's the thing, like if I submit that insurance claim, should I make that buyer wait 2 months until that claim comes back? Because at the end of the day, me personally, I'm paying that guy as soon as I can, because I feel bad the car got lost, right? It was my responsibility. I lined it. It was my job to make sure it got in the package. It was my job to make sure it hit his mailbox. If all that didn't happen, you can blame USPS, FedEx, all of them all day long, but at the end of the day, I didn't deliver. Um, it depends on the card, it depends on the person, it depends on all of that, but I have gotten more to where, because if you use, I don't know how Pirate Ship is. I've never used Pirate Ship. I've always used USPS because I've had a business account and didn't want to lose all my shit. But with USPS, I feel like I think it's like $200 to $400 is the same exact price for insurance if you do it or not, right? So
So
like,
Pirate Ship is, I think, just like USPS, up to 100 it's covered, and then approximately every 100 after is about $1.
okay, so I mean, if you lost a $300 car, do you feel comfortable enough that you could pay that buyer back?
Yeah, but I'd feel more comfortable if I spent the $3.
Okay,
That's
but
where
what
my
if
head's
what?
at, though.
Yeah, it is, and I'm there sometimes. Like I have done more where I'm paying for shipping now, but there also is another side to that where certain people in the hobby that are scammers, uh, can see that you paid for insurance. And if they see that you paid more and you paid for insurance, they may be more inclined
Sure.
to make that card disappear also. I just think it's if you could back it up. At the end of the day, I could tell you what John would do because I know the kind of person John is.
Right.
John would pay that person before the claim was ever submitted anyways. I would probably do the same. If it was a person to me that, or any kind of situation where I felt like I needed to fix it. But there have been situations that I heard of where there was scammerish stuff going on too, where me as the person sending out the card could possibly get screwed from somebody saying they didn't get it. So I don't know, man. I think I hear a lot too that people submit claims and they don't get approved.
I hear that a lot too.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
there's a
my
bunch
big
to
fear
it.
too. That's why I'm
There's a
always
bunch
nervous
to it.
shipping big dollar cards like those.
Yeah.
Recently I've shipped some pretty big cards, and it's definitely actually that when I shipped that Kaboom to Villain and I didn't hear from him that he got it, even though I seen it was delivered. I had to reach out because I'm like, dude, it says deliver, but did you open it? Are we good? Like, I don't know. The big cards scare me.
For sure.
But in order to play big, you got to be able to take that risk too and ship. And
I think the answer for the hobby is insure your cards.
Yeah, I think so in general.
Because not everybody is honest, but I think that if you have the bankroll and you feel like it's not beneficial to pay that off if something does happen, you can do that too. At the end of the day, insuring is no different than you insuring out of pocket. It's the same thing. You're just guaranteed and it's going to show up and you're going to pay if it don't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will tell you, I've never had a card stolen. I've never had a card lost. I've never had a package damaged, except for once a card that I sent to somebody on eBay. The slab got cracked. I paid the $25 to reholster. I have never in my 3 years in the hobby ever had a problem with the card getting delivered.
So I've had two issues, and one went good and one went bad. I had a case of Playmaker Platinums, their highest end fucking repacks.
Yeah.
Comes to the house, and I watch her on my camera holding the box, like her hands inside of it, like swinging it. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking, you can see it. I'm not at home. And of course, on the porch, it's clearly opened and emptied, no sticker on it, nothing. We got our money back for that.
Yeah.
And then another instance when a downtown miraculously, that was probably whatever, didn't go so good, but like, I don't know. I just, it just fucks with me. What I did learn,
I mean,
though,
it's peace of mind, right?
yeah, what I did learn for sure is if it's in the air, it seems to do a lot better than on the ground.
Yeah.
That's just,
Yeah.
and that's from buying cases and cases of repacks to break. I mean,
Yeah.
fuck, we just had so much better luck when we shipped, whether a delay or anything. If it gets up in the air, we're doing better. So I don't know.
Yep.
Right on. Well, shit, guys. Quick hour, a little bit of talk.
I got one question before we end, man.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh boy.
John, how's your hair? John, how's your hair so beautiful, dude?
dude,
Yeah, no shit.
I've actually been looking at myself. I'm like, man, I'm all like fuzzy and shit. Yeah, I don't know. I'm blessed with some thick hair. I'm thinning though. I am thinning, guys. I'm thinning.
I got thick hair, but it ain't there.
Not either. Bush style.
It's a lot less maintenance to be bald. I'll tell you that, right? It's a lot less maintenance to shave that shit.
Yeah, but razors aren't cheap, man.
No,
not anymore,
expensive.
right?
Nothing is.
Expensive. Jesus.
Yeah, no shit. You should see this Christmas list my kids got.
Woo!
I've totaled his shit up, and I was like, just get away from me right now. Get away from me. But anyways, dude, you guys, thanks for doing this, man. This is fun. Like I said, I didn't really have anything planned, but I just figured with you two, shit would pop up. So
Yep.
No, it was definitely cool. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Dude, hell
You
yeah.
guys have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man.
Too, man.